We're back up on the roof again. It is finished. Last year, when we were coming back from Kennewick, we had a little problem that one of the equalizer bars fell off as we were pulling back onto the freeway. We didn't really know why, but we put it back on and drove home and all was well. It came off this last trip when Brent was making a left-hand turn, very sharp left-hand turn at my brother's place. And was there another time it came off too?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Actually, with these equalizers that hold on with the chain, I found, I'm not sure about all models, but this particular one, if you make too sharp a right turn or left turn, it will fall out because there is a little catch on here. I'll just show you if you want to come a little closer. Right here, if you want to get a close-up of that, there's a little notch right there that the bar goes in, and now it won't fall out. But if you do too tight a turn, it might fall out.
Okay.
So what our issue was when we were coming back from Kennewick last year, and again on this most recent trip, this is it shouldn't come out now. All I do is lift up, so the tension got taken off of it, and the reason why is this. That little tab has been sheared off. This hitch still works fine if there is constant pressure on both spring arms. You turn too sharp one way or the other, it's going to fall out like that. And what I've done with this, I've actually made a little modification for myself for this specific hitch, because I take a little piece of cable and I put it through each end of the chains, so if one falls off, it's not getting lost on the highway. And it's just a little safety thing so we don't lose it and have it fly through somebody's windshield. So this is one thing that I have done, but now we don't have to worry about this anymore. We can get rid of that. We upgraded to an equalizer brand. This here, I have to put it together myself, but this is a 4-way anti-sway. This is pretty much the cream of the crop when it comes to anti-sway bars. We paid a pretty penny for it, but I didn't have $3,000 to throw at a Hensley hitch. That is obviously top of the line, along with some of the Pro Glides, or I'm not sure what other brands that I can't afford, or most people can't afford. So this one here, I got it with the hitch ball attached. The reason being, that ball has to be torqued down to 430 pounds. So I don't have a torque wrench that does that. So I'm going to put them all together. And the two shank bolts that come on the side, which basically hold everything together, those have to be torqued down to 320 pounds. I do know a guy that's got one that can take care of that. So all I have to do is put it all together, get everything lined up the way I want it, and then torque down those two bolts and we're good to go.
Woohoo! So I'll leave you to putting it all together, and we'll come back and you can tell us what you did.
Yeah, it's going to be a little while.
Okay, no worries.
But it'll be well worth it. Peace of mind for this is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we were pretty worried about that thing falling off.
I was very
on our
conscious of these spring arms, yes.
We actually thought about buying one in Calgary,
Yeah.
but it wasn't going to be the one we really wanted.
It was only going to be around $350, but it was another one with chains that would handle the issue, but I wanted something that's going to take care of the issue, and we're not going to have to worry about it ever again.
the original hitch we ended up getting from someone you knew, and we only paid $100 for it. So got us out on the road, but now it's time to replace it.
Time to move on and move up, and well, we can repurpose the other one. Somebody might need one. I'll point out the issue with that. It's not a big deal, but
could be.
It could be down the road.
Yeah, and we don't want to risk it while we're hauling our house around.
No.
Got it all together, Brent?
Yeah, got everything finalized. Just going to show you what it looks like before it gets hooked up to the trailer. Very simple setup. Cotter pin there. Cotter pin there. So that's basically the whole setup. And these bolts here that hold the spring arm steady, they are supposed to be torqued anywhere from 60 to 100 pounds, and they are very tight from factory. So I have been working a little bit with them, a little bit of grease, but to give you an idea how tight they are,
Okay, don't hurt yourself.
that's tight.
Yeah.
So it'll take a little time for them to loosen up a little bit, but that's going to be a good solid unit. And then on the trailer, on the hitch, I'll show you what I did there.
I'm curious, when we're hauling, like when you pull out of here, there's a lot of noise and creaking and squeaking and stuff that goes on. I'm curious if it'll be quieter now.
It may be, but at first it will not be, because that is brand new and there's not any grease worked into those moving joints. I have greased a little bit, but it's going to take a little bit of working in the grease to get all the factory paint out of there and the grease for that to work into this spot.
Okay.
This here is the hanging brackets for the spring arms. It's a very simple setup, and they're measured out 32 or 31 and a half inches actually to the center. Anywhere from 27 to 32 inches is recommended. They say 32, which will give you approximately 3.5 inches at the end of the spring arm. So if you're doing a turn, it's not going to pop out. And then all the bolts, the nuts are torqued down to 60 and 75 pounds per square inch. Everything is solid on there. And that's the whole setup.
Yay!
So once we get it all set up and on the road, we'll probably hear a little bit of groaning and squeaking. We won't feel it going down the road.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just going to be a nice solid unit. Miriam had to go watch our grandson Bowen, so I thought I'd set up the equalizer and see if I could get everything lined up properly on one try or two tries or three tries. Turns out I did it perfect on the first try, within 1/8 of an inch of perfection. So I'm happy with that. All I had to do was be within an inch in either direction after coupling the trailer and the equalizer and getting all the spring arms set up. And here we are with the new setup. Yes, I painted the cap of the ball yellow. It's easier to back into when there's nobody around. On initial setup, I just followed the book. I read the book cover to cover, and then I went onto YouTube and went to the equalizer website, and they showed me how to, like, a few ways of just setting up the spacers in the top of the coupler there for mounting onto the shank. And I did exactly what they said. Started off with 6 spacers, some say 5. I went with 6, and it turned out perfect. Although the swing arms, once they're in there the first time, you really got to reef on them to move them a little bit, because this is a very solid setup. And I am so happy we got it. Can't wait to get out on the road and test it out. Here we are with my latest mod. I noticed one time I was sitting outside, it started to rain, and I'm undercover under the awning and everything. It's all good and I'm not getting soaked. but I noticed the water was rushing off of the slides, coming down the slides in a river. Grand Design has this little bit of a lip right at the base of their slides where it's supposed to wick away and just drip straight off. I noticed some people have put a small lip of solid plastic under here, which it may work for some. I didn't care for doing it that way. I found an easier way. This jumble here, it's just a rubber weather stripping. Sticky back on one half of it. The other half hangs down 15 millimeters, which is roughly a half an inch. All we do is this metal strip along the bottom here that seals everything in. It's got silicone on it, so it's watertight. And then the water comes past that and is supposed to drip off. Sometimes when I noticed there was a lot of water coming down, it was coming down, some was wicking off and dripping down, some was going underneath the slide. The bottom of the slide is wood. Wood will absorb the water. So I don't want to have any issues with rotten wood on the bottom of the slides ever. That's not a fun situation to have. So what I've done, I'm going to be pulling this metal strip off, putting this rubber stripping on, putting this metal strip back on, and re-silicone the top. That will basically give me about a half an inch of plastic below the lowest point on the slide, which the water will come down and it can't come back up, so it'll have to wick straight off. And that will save the bottom of the slides. I'm 99% sure.
All right, let's show the other side that you've already done.
Okay, so here on the front side of the slide, right beside the door, I have done this entire side already, which you can see that this rubber stripping is a full ½ inch to 5/8 of an inch below the lowest point of the slide. So any water that comes down the slide will wick straight off and go straight to the ground. And I've got it all the way across, right inside, so this entire section has been re-sealed with silicone.
When we pull the slides in, how's that going to work? Like,
This seal is rubber.
Yeah.
And that should fold up and just go straight on in. When I had water running down this from a heavy rainfall, it was great to see because it was coming straight off of here and going straight to the ground. Not a drop went underneath that I saw. So nothing was wicking underneath. It hangs down about a ½ an inch below the lowest point of the slide. So I think that's a great addition. The only problem is with the Schwintek slide. I did the same thing, but there was nothing really to take off and reseal. So I basically just taped it across the bottom underneath the gears, or the slide gears here, and everything seemed to work fine with that. So nothing is wicking underneath into the wood, and hopefully that'll take care of any issues that we may have down the road.
And we'll see how it works when we pull the slides in and out.
When the slides come in and out, these are made of rubber, so they're very flexible, very pliable. I don't think we're going to have an issue with that.
As we had told you in a previous episode, when we were in Lethbridge, we discovered that some of our roof was lifting up and separating from the top of the trailer. And we did a fix with some tape that Brent had. Now that we're at home, we're going to do the whole roof.
Absolutely.
But first, we have to do some preparation.
A lot of the prep to do is basically you have to clean the roof, get any tree sap off, road grime, find out if there's any smaller cuts in the roof membrane that aren't in the regular area that I'm going to be taping up. I've got this Camco rubber roof cleaner and conditioner. I'm going to give it a try. Try it out on a few smaller sections, see if it works properly. And well, that was not too bad. It was available pretty much anywhere. These are the tapes I'm using. It's Proflex This is the 2-inch tape, and I've also got a couple rolls of the 6-inch tape. It's like a Turnabond tape. It's not name brand Turnabond. Like I say, it is Proflex. It's half the price. And I've used it for a couple of years now, or almost a couple of years, with no issues. It works great. This is what I did repair the nose cap with when we were in Lethbridge, and it's still holding nice and tight. 2 strips of that across the top, and it was fine. So I've got to go up and clean a little bit of the roof, and I will be bulletproofing the roof with this stuff, and I'll show you how it is done, and I'll show you at the end.
Okay, so you're gonna go up and do some cleaning and take the
take all the vent covers off as well. Make sure all of the any place where there's a seal or some of the DAP that's on the roof. I'm going to do all the edges as well, right to the eaves troughs. So I'll be doing the whole roof.
Okay, I'll be up there to join you when you need some help.
Yeah.
Okay, Brent, we are taping not the entire surface of the roof, but we are taping what?
Okay, to clarify, I've got this 2-inch Proflex tape. This will be for the eaves, going full length of the trailer, front to back, or back to front, whichever you prefer, both sides. That's all I'm using the 2-inch for. The 6-inch is what I'm taping around every skylight, every vent, every possibility, or every place where there is sealant or the self-leveling DAP on the roof. We are not taping the entire roof. That would be
a really big job.
Economically not feasible. If you're going to do that, you may as well just paint the whole roof or reseal it with a couple of gallons of rubber adhesive. For now, this is it.
So we will be around this skylight. We have
So basically everywhere that there is this DAP, the self-leveling DAP,
yeah.
It is a good sealant, but over time it softens. I've noticed on one spot, or actually a couple spots at the back of the trailer, the crows have started to dig into it. I don't know if it's a tasty treat for them or what, but that caused a hole which I had to patch. So
Okay.
all I'm doing is putting the tape all the way around any place where there is a possibility of leakage.
All right, let's get this done.
One other thing I'd like to point out is I'm starting at the back of the trailer. So any overlap of seals will be from the front to the back. So if there's any wind coming at the seals or the tape, it'll be coming from the front and it will be protected by anything behind it as a lower bit, if that makes any sense to you.
Scary part for me because we're at the back of the trailer and I just have a fear of falling.
Matt, how you doing?
Got you. Brent, maybe a little info on why we have that corrugated plastic on the over the bedroom slide.
The reason I have the corrugated there is we don't have slide toppers, and that bit of corrugated fiberglass cuts the sound out for any heavy rain, so it's not pounding down on the top of our slide. That's where our bed is.
Well, and it kind of protects the slide a little bit from some of the tree gunk.
Sure.
So you're going to put another strip across.
I'm gonna put one more strip across the nose cap.
Do you want help with that?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Should be able to. Unless you want to.
No, it's fine. I'm good. I'll get rid of some of the debris around the vents.
Yeah, sure. That's where that little room is.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Oh, room lady. Can you please sweep the nose cap? Sure. Okay, go that way. It is a fully walkable roof, but 420 pounds in one spot is a touch and go such situation, so try not to walk beside each other.
420 and losing.
Yeah. It's always good to have help up here.
Except for it's sticky from the pine, from the sap, from the trees. Get go.
So what I'm doing on these are the easy parts. Doing the back first. Then I'll go up the sides, and then I'll do the front. So any overlap will be coming from the front. So there will be no chance of wind getting underneath. And works if you have four hands, or better if you have four hands. Very sticky, but very good. This Proflex tape, I tried a roll of the 4-inch, and it worked out great for a few things that I did a long time ago. So I Figured, well, I need some 6-inch tape. I'm gonna get the 6-inch from the same company, and it works so well. I got the 2-inch as well, and not taking anything away from Eternabond, but this is half the price of the Eternabond tape. A 50-foot roll of the 6-inch, I think was $54, where Eternabond was about $115 for the same size roll, 6-inch by 50 foot. Gotta save when you can. I've never tried the Eternabond tape, but with this Proflex, I'm not going to try the Eternabond either. The price is right and it works great. We'll have a link in the description down below for any of the materials that I've used today. That looks awesome.
Yes, it does. So we'll carry on when we'll come back and...
Yeah, I'll have to go grab another roll of my tape. I've got it in the cargo trailer. And then I'll finish the rest of the roof off, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. This is one minor modification. I thought I'd give it a try. I saw somebody do it on one of the Facebook pages we follow. It was basically a couple of 2x4s and a ratchet strap. What they did was put the 2x4s underneath the back of the trailer and then attached eye bolts with the ratchet strap across the bottom of those two 2x4s and basically pulled the 2x4s closer, thus giving a little more stability to the rig itself. What I've done, I've gone one step beyond. I used 2x6 with a 2x6 cross member at the top of those pieces of wood. And if you can see down here, so I've got the 2x6 cross member screwed to the end pieces, and then I've got the eye bolts with a heavy-duty ratchet strap, pulling that as tight as possible. And it actually does give a little bit extra stability in the back end of the trailer. If you do this on the front, it would probably help as well. You can go all out on something like this, and this is just a very cheap mod. It cost me nothing for the wood. I had the ratchet strap, and it cost me, I think, $4 for the eye bolts. So it's a very cheap mod to give a little bit of stability. Next step up would be basically jacking the whole trailer up and putting it on blocks to give you full stability. But if you're trying to remain mobile, this is actually a pretty good way to go.
This is something we're not taking with us when we do...
No, this will stay at our main
our
base.
home base.
I will not be setting this up when we're going anywhere, unless we're there for 2, 3, 4 weeks in one shot. But everything works, it stabilizes fairly well.
We're back up on the roof again. It is finished. So we got all the parts taped, and Brent's just gonna show you them.
Well, not completely finished. I have one more piece. I have to take the shroud off the AC, and I'm gonna do the AC as well. That's another day. No rush on it. We've got a couple weeks before our next trip. But what I did finish, the entire side of the eaves, right here. I started at the back with the 2-inch, and so we don't need the room right now. And it overlaps the eave all the way along. So any water that comes over here is going straight down past the lip of the eaves into the eaves trough. So that is all done. I used one single piece for each side. They are roughly 34 feet because the trailer's a 38-footer. I had 2 rolls. I didn't want to break it up and have a splice anywhere in the middle. So I used one full roll for that, one full roll for that. I've got about 15, 20 feet left on each roll, so I'll use that up in time. The 6-inch tape is what I used for around all of the sunlights, the vents, and if you look a little closer, this is what I did. So with the smaller vents like this, I basically put it on top, drew a half circle, put that piece down, and then I put the front piece on second. So it's completely sealed all the way around. And I did it that way, so see, this is the back. I put the front on like this, so the overlap is facing the back. So if any wind catches it, it won't harm anything that's been done. I did the same with the skylights. Put the rear on first, went up both sides, put the front on back so all of the lips are facing back. And yes, I did underneath these as well. Pulled that off. It's only 4 bolts, so it's not a big deal. And I put that guy down front to back, and everything works great. And now the only thing that's left to do is the AC. I'll pull the shroud off. It looks like it's only 4 bolts, so it'll be probably about a 10-minute job because I still have to clean around that. So aside from that, all looks good. We
All right.
bulletproofed the roof.
Woohoo!
So all I'm going to be doing is pulling this.
Yes, he
How you
is.
doing, Jim? For the bottom, and it's wood down there, so it was soaking up wood.
There we go.